We are now going to explore some other controls that we didn't see yet. Let's start with the color gradients. Color gradients allow us to create even more diversified and interesting texture maps for our terrains. In this example, I have a sort of mountain-like terrain, and I'm using the same color gradient for both left and right nodes. And as I terraform these, as you can see, I have this kind of rocky terrain. I have a small mountain here covered with snow, and I like it, but I would like to have some more snow so that this terrain would look more like winter. How do I do that? Okay, let's try to use a different color gradient for the right nodes. And so I'm going to scroll my right color gradients bar, and I'm going to choose, for example, this other gradient, which is called high mountain.bmp. As I click it, you will see that this gradient is applied to right nodes, and in a few seconds we have our preview done here, which well, is much lighter and white than earlier. And if I'm going to terraform this, we are going now to take a look how our terrain has changed. Alright, and in fact, as we expected, we now have more white areas, and well, our snow is starting to look more interesting and is covering larger areas than earlier. Okay, and now let's go further. I'm going to restore my original gradient, which was flow2.bmp, and okay, this is the starting point that we had before. Let's see a little bit, for example, what the preview size does. The preview size has two positions, and the leftmost position just gives us a faster preview of our terrain. And as you can see, the right one, when I set it to the right, it takes a little bit more of time to calculate, but I have a better preview of my terrain map. When I set it to the left, I get less quality, but it's quite faster to calculate. And anyway, the preview size doesn't affect in any way the final result of both height map and texture map. So it's just for the sake of having a preview showing faster or with better quality. Then we have the slider with the height map and texture map. You already know about this. I can just switch between height map and texture map and see my altitude representation and how my colored texture map is coming along. And another interesting setting is the noise size. The noise size is actually a sort of zoom function. When I increase it, for example, from 2 to 6, it render our map, and so that it looks like almost if like if I just I'm just watching it from a higher altitude. And if I choose an even higher value and I run the preview again, alright, you see, now I'm getting very dizzy map. On the other hand, if I'm going to use a value of 1, alright, you see it looks like I am just sitting on the terrain almost. So you will have to experiment and find what are the best values that you can use for your terrains. I in my practice with Infinito, I noticed that 4, a number of 4, it's a very good value to create terrains with an extension of about 1 kilometer per side. Alright, and another control that we can use is the pan, vertical pan and horizontal pan. In practice I can scroll my map if I, for example, move the slider on the top. You see, it's like I am moving my map as well. And Infinito is going to recalculate all the noise maps. So take, for example, this point here on the left as a reference and see what happens when I move the cursor a little bit on the top. Okay, you see now our reference point is lower, and this means that I just scrolled my map at north, let's say. In the same way, I can do a horizontal scroll. For example, I can scroll left. Well, I meant right. You see, our reference point is now on the right. And so this is a nice and interesting feature because, for example, if you like this area here and well, you say, okay, this spot here is very nice. I want it to be centered. Okay, then I'm going to I'm going to scroll my map until I get it almost to the center. And another thing you can do is maybe use the lower preview size so everything is faster. Okay, I see this reference point is here. I'm going to scroll on the left a little bit so that it's centered almost. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, my point is here. Okay, and now I think I am almost in the right spot and I like it like this. And so when I'm done, I can just terraform, and well, I'm getting my sweet spot here just where I want. Alright. Just remember that what you see here is not a render, is a preview, and so when our terrain will be rendered in Studio, it will look really nice. Another interesting feature of Infinito is the possibility to bake lighting directly in our texture map. By default, this option is on, and in fact, if you see lighting, it's the standard value of lighting is on. This means that in fact we are going to get a lot of nice detail in our texture map. In this case, we have the sunlight with a pitch of 43 degrees, and see what happens if I move the slider and I get well, almost close to sunset. As you can see, our texture map is being recalculated with the new sunlight position, and it looks like our sun is near to the horizon, and in fact our terrain is getting quite dark here. And this is very interesting because you will be able this way to create a texture map which already has lighting baked inside. So I'm going to restore my sunlight at about 60 degrees, and we are in a pretty much sunny condition here. And if you like, you can even switch lighting off. You understand that when you are in Studio, you are anyway calculating lighting within the application itself. So actually you could just switch light off and save the texture map just with the colors as they come. But in my opinion, saving baked lighting inside our texture map is a very convenient way to add even more detail to our texture map. And of course you will be able also to change other controls like the azimuth and contrast and intensity. So for example, now I am already again at yeah, with the sun going down, and if I want I can even uh, decrease the intensity a bit so that I get a darker texture. Maybe I can do it even more. And so this way, when I save my, well no, when I create my studio scene, I'm going to get just the texture that I'm watching now. You see, now I enhanced the contrast a little bit and it really looks like the sun is going down, and this is how our terrain looks in that condition. Alright, this was the light control in the terraform section, available when you are in texture map mode.